Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that my 2 informative videos are done for today, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. So let me put on my +5 weapons video, work on skill in my craft, and let's talk about this.
So I know we've been on a bit of a fitments and bodybuilding tear over the last few months. Let's be real, the majority of my content reeks of piss and Burger King, slight bit of humanity sprinkled on the sides.
Stop this shit! I have kids! John, stop it!
Some of you are brand new to this stuff. Some of you have been swimming with the ancient dolphins of Kresva for years. And I think it's safe to say that no matter what, this has become a pivotal part of this channel. And that's not going to change. It's basically non-negotiable. But we will be branching out a bit. The formula is the same, we're just going to be doing a lot more of it. And we're going to be covering many different things, from fitness to obscure internet personalities, and everything in between.
When I was really starved and then I started eating again, I wanted flesh so much that I actually wanted human flesh. And there's a reason for this.
Dumpster fires come in many shapes and sizes, people. I've got a big Dank in the works, something on the same scale as the whole Genovaverse. 10 years worth of stuff. Troll slaying, epic showdowns. It's gonna have everything. The only reason you haven't seen anything from it yet is because I was under the impression that a pivotal piece of footage was scrubbed from the internet. Luckily, I managed to get my greasy Canadian fingers on it, so we're going full steam ahead. I'm not giving you guys any hints, I'm just gonna drop it on you sometime. You guys out there who love the long form videos are gonna pop a chub over this one. In between those though, we're gonna add some videos like the ones we have today. Let me introduce you to YouTube's other ego lifter, Marc Steubing. I'm probably butchering his name. I'm absolutely terrible with pronunciations. Marc has a smaller channel where he shows his lifts and answers questions. His reputation actually precedes him too. Marc is one of the lifters that's often featured on the OE Fitness channel. I mentioned them before, they're a fitness compilation channel that focuses on ego lifting and gym fails. It's pretty entertaining actually. Marc, along with Jesse, make up the residential YouTube ego lifting team. Marc's special though, because he's not batshit crazy, and he trains quite a bit differently. See, he's the result of what happens when you take Coates' advice and run with it like it's the keys to the farm itself. That's right, Marc is a protege of Hemingway. They're not exactly the same. They do train a little bit different, but you can tell Marc is one of those rare people that is highly influenced by Blaha. He's one of the 20 people not blocked by Jason. Right away, I know what you're thinking. No one takes Blaha's advice. They're only there to unintentionally troll him in his comment section. That may be true, but surprisingly enough, there are a few people who look up to Coates. And Marc is the best example of them, to be honest. From time to time, I'll actually check out Blaha's videos, mainly because the comments can get pretty funny, and 9 times out of 10, you'll find Marc in there preaching the holy gospel of Blahino. So this is a situation we've come across before, because I actually kind of like Marc. I'll admit it, he grows on you.
I know I'm not the most perfect squatter. I know I don't have the most perfect form, but you know what? I do know what I'm talking about to the point where I make gains and I stay injury free, don't I? So how are you gonna make fun of me whenever you see me making gains every week and getting stronger every week? And I've got some guys that are real strong that are on my side and support me in commentary. So, you know, let that sink in for a minute if you're a hater who doesn't like me, you know. A lot of people said, Marc, you're one of the most positive people on social media, and I am. I have no reason to hate or be negative with nobody. When I make videos, I'm telling you what works for me, okay?
And he seems like a nice dude. You kind of want to root for him. And he definitely gets props for promoting fitness and trying to encourage and motivate others. I'm down for that. But at the same time, he's stubborn as fuck and probably not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
A lot of people think that I'm putting all the pressure on my back and spine and I'm hurting my back every time I deadlift. You're totally wrong. The main 2 spots I feel to deadlift are my core and my legs. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, okay? If you're not feeling like pressure, if it's not feeling hard for you, you're not deadlifting heavy enough, okay? There's guys out there that deadlift, you know, 7, 8, 900 pounds and have blood shooting out of their nose. You don't think that, you know, is painful? You don't think that hurts and that's hard? I mean, if you're gonna deadlift, you have to man up. You can't keep worrying about what's gonna happen to you when you're 40 or 50 years old.
Over the years, Marc has adapted this technique. He likes to call it the dive bomb. Long story short, you have to slam the weight on your lower sternum and then bounce the bar up. Totally legit technique, totally legit. This is Marc's go-to, and basically every time he benches, this is how he does it.
My form now ain't that bad. The only thing that's bad is my uneven bar path. And of course I use a little momentum off the chest. In my opinion, that's how you're explosive. You can either pause rep it, or you can get like a little slight momentum, so you can boom, explode off your chest with it like I do, and use maximum leg drive, because that leg drive is what shoots the bar off your upper sternum and you get it flying in the air off your body. It's just like a deadlift. I think of a bench press just like a deadlift. You're using constant leg drive to shoot the weight off of your lower chest, upper stomach area, and you just fire up.
And it's not the only exercise he has terrible form in either. Pretty much everything he does is an injury waiting to happen. Luckily, I don't think Marc has had a serious injury yet, but he does have obvious strength imbalances. This is kind of a good example of some of the issues a person might encounter when they're doing nothing but the big five. Everyone's a fan of the big five, but you gotta diversify, or you run the chance of developing imbalances. For everyone new to fitness, which is actually quite a bit of you guys, the big five are the barbell squat, the bench press, the overhead press, the deadlift, and the bent over rows. And the idea of these 5 exercises is that they hit almost every muscle group to an extent, and each of them are great for building a base and strength. It's a good idea to work on these lifts a lot early on, and then eventually from there you can figure out what you want to add based on your fitness goals. And I think everybody can agree that they should be incorporated into a program to some extent. Basically what I'm getting at is that it's a good place to start and build off of. But you gotta branch out, or you're gonna end up with the Jason Blaha body shape, which is kind of like emaciated bear mode, or hippo mode. Hippo mode is I think that's what they like to call it. I think even Coach started to realize this, but it's a little too late for him really. Marc can probably turn it around. All he's got to do is work on that dive bomb technique just a little bit more. It just needs to be slightly refined.
Okay, so today I'm going to give y'all some tips on why I dive bomb on the bench press and what a dive bomb is. Okay, a dive bomb is whenever you're going to bench press and then you unrack the weight, and as soon as you unrack the weight, you kind of come around, come down, come right down over your lats, and then you fire up. That's a dive bomb.
Like on a serious note, does Marc know that people have died from this? Like I've had imbalances before. Everyone comes into this problem eventually when they're lifting, and it's pretty easy to fix it. All I had to do was switch to dumbbells for a bit, which is what Marc should probably do, but the inner ego lifter just won't let that happen. It's all about proving the haters wrong now.
That's my message, you know. People say, well, what do you think about the trolls? I don't give a flying fuck, you know. I don't care about who likes me or who hates me.
And while Marc does get a lot of hate, and I think it's because he doesn't listen to anyone. Sure, there's some trolling in there, but there is some actual concern too. Mostly in the form of, Marc, we don't want you to die. And that's because Marc also has this issue of constantly pushing weight he probably shouldn't be touching. Especially without a spotter. Some of Marc's bench press fails are actually pretty shocking. There's some horror stories out there about people actually dropping a bench press on themselves and their family members coming home and finding them dead. And Marc's often at home alone. I feel like one day we might just stop getting Stubing videos because the poor bastard died. That would be brutal. Not just because dying under a barbell sounds just as bad as dying in a fire, but because he seems like a good dude. Either way, I joke about Stubing, but I'm genuinely concerned. Marc, if you come by this video, I'm not going to tell you to stop what you're doing because I don't think you'll listen to me. But regardless, just try to use a spotter, bro. That's all I ask. And Marc, that fucking bench, man. you're gonna end up dropping the weight on your chest and toothpasting your organs out your anus. And that would be a waste because Marc actually has some potential and he's naturally strong. And if he managed to somehow develop some semblance of form, I think he'd end up performing some crazy lifts down the line. But as it stands right now, he's most likely gonna compress his spine or pull his bicep. And that's looking on the brighter side. So now that I've introduced you to Marc, we might as well have some fun and answer the real age-old question. The real question on everyone's mind. The question that has plagued the fitness realm for years. How strong actually is Blaha? And since this video is mostly about his protege Marc, we might as well compare the two. That's right, we're gonna have a liftoff between Blahino and his protege. But remember, no matter the outcome, no one really wins in the end, except for us, that is. Either way, the winner of the competition will be crowned the ultimate title. They will be the new Koth. Let the games begin. So we'll be judging in 3 categories: the bench press, the squat, and the deadlift. And I'm not counting Blaha's mythical 500-pound reverse grip press. We're only counting things on camera, people. First up is the squat. Never mind the difference in plates, Blaha's thick red ones are 55 pounds each. So we got him at 480 pounds.
You got it. Up. Yes.
And that's actually better than he did at the one powerlifting meet we have footage of. Marc, on the other hand, manages to seizure his way into doing a 440 squat.
Let's go.
So Blaha manages to win round 1. Next, we'll take a look at the deadlift, the test of raw power. So Blaha manages to crack a 560 for 1 rep during his competition. Other than that, the best one I can get in the last few years is him doing 535 for 5 reps. If you do the whole 1 rep max calculation, it says Blaha might be able to pull off a 595. I don't know if he's ever hit anything like that, and personally I doubt it, but that's regardless anyway because we have to go what we have on video. And we have Blaha doing 560 pounds. So how about Marc the Maniac? Well, he's also got a 560 pounder. Sloppier than my last girlfriend, but we'll count it. Next is the bench, and let me tell you, it's kind of Marc's specialty. Okay, so for Blaha, we have his lift at the meet, which is 330 pounds. Surprisingly enough, I've actually seen Blaha lift more than that. He did a 335 a while ago. I'm not exactly sure when it was, but it was within the last year, and he did it pretty smoothly. Marc, on the other hand, well, let's just say he has a certain grace when he lifts. Marc's bench pressing is wonderful. Ribs of Steel Stubing over here has benched 365 pounds successfully. Well, by his standards at least. He's kind of done 370 and attempted to do 390, but even I'm not giving that to him. Either way though, it's still more than 335. It's funny how these guys are actually pretty close in strength despite the differences. Almost like you can only get so far with this style of training solely. If there's any Blaha nut huggers out there, this is probably the part you should listen to. I'm just kidding, guys. I love you too. Do whatever you want, man. Okay, so after our lightning bayonet liftoff, let's tally up the results. We have Blaha winning the squat department. We have a tie for the deadlifts. Yes, it's a tie. Next, the bench press. And Marc, I might have a hernia Stubing, absolutely crushes Blahino in this category. Secretly, I think Marc is doing Iron Monk training. You know when you hit a body part like your fists or your forearms hundreds of times to strengthen them? Well, Marc is just doing that to his sternum. I feel like that's the actual end goal here. So with those results, I gotta say it's a tie, guys. And to be the Koth, you have to beat the Koth. You can't tie him, which is unfortunate because I actually like Marc a lot more than Hemingway. But I feel like we should open this up for discussion here, guys. Who do you think should rightfully be called the Coates? Jason, they did horrible things to me for 72 hours, Blaha? Or Marc, I might end up dying under a barbell Stubing? I know a lot of people actually wonder about Jason's strength, and to be honest, I was actually a little surprised. It's obviously not as much as he claims, but it's still more than I thought. Throw down below what you think. If this turns out to be good, maybe I'll start a little strength off series. Tell me you're not curious how Janoi ranks up to these guys. I'll tell you one thing for sure. I bet the new Sober J Masters can give him a run for their money. He's looking 10 times healthier than he was 2 months ago. It's interesting to ponder how the Iron Extortionist racks up. And the funny thing is, we might just eventually get to see.
Jason, we just saw Jason Genova, aka El Spaniard, aka the Dark Sith Lord, whatever else he's called himself these days. I like Genova though. That he talked about you in a video and said you guys might be collabing.
But until that glorious day comes to fruition, we'll just have to settle for some high-level, top-notch humanity. That'll tide us over.
Why are you asking?
Can you tell me how you met The Rock?
No, I can't. It's very personal.
Because you're a fucking liar?
Why do you think I'm lying about that?
Because you have no proof that you actually met The Rock. You have a...
Okay. Let me ask you. Why would someone care? Why do I care who you? I know nothing about you. I don't know who your friends are or what you. I just know you do pranks. Why are you guys worried? Like, you were saying something about I use. I
just hate it.
Or I do this. Why are you guys interested in it?
I just hate it when people lie a lot.